Hello, welcome to Ray by Choice. It's Ray, of course. I
I'm so sorry.
This is gonna be in the take. I'm gonna leave it in the take. You know what? We're gonna keep vibing from here. Okay, so yes, this is my lovely first episode podcast. Clearly, this is already going so well. So today I have one of my best friends in the world since high school. That's something that we're gonna cover. This is Mac, my lovely girl. So we're basically just gonna discuss how we met, some things with mental health, so please get your listening ears on and we're going to discuss. And also her college journey. She's getting ready to further her college degree and we're going to get rolling. So, Mac, my lovely, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm vibing. This podcast is so fun. Even though it's the first episode and I've never done this before in my life. So we're just gonna vibe from here. All right, basically how it goes. I'm gonna ask questions. Each topic has 3 questions. She's gonna answer however she wants. I don't care. It's open to anything. So let's get into it. I am going to ask you a couple questions on how we met. And see if you have a vivid memory on how we met. What is your earliest memory of us meeting, and what stood out to you about that moment?
So I met Ray in our junior year. I just had transferred into York Tech due to like a moving situation, and so I ended up in, shout out to Mr. Collins, I ended up in his junior year 11th English, and Ray was sitting right diagonally from me. I was sat in the back in the middle table. And I saw her and she was like very self-reserved, very like quirky and, just to herself. And she wasn't very talkative at first, but that's how I met Ray. And we went from there. We didn't really start a friendship until my favorite thing was the debate with my teacher on medical topics, or just fact checked him and make him really angry. So Ray would like giggle in the middle of class when I would be clocking him. And that really caught my eye. And I just knew like from that point, like her and I were going to be friends.
Vibes. I remember those days. Those were quite fun days. I actually think about them sometimes to give myself a little reprieve from all this college nonsense because, trust me, college is ridiculous sometimes. All right. So, at what point did you realize our friendship was going to be something meaningful rather than casual?
Drama class.
Yes.
Drama class, you get to be yourself. It's probably like one of the only classes you'll ever take. Like, I recommend it for people who are in high school or even going to college. If you want to boost your confidence, like, and give yourself that guidance in life, do drama class. It allowed you to be yourself, and you got to act, obviously, and sing if you wanted to, writing. But it's really the class where you could express yourself, and all of us in there were just so like-minded in a way that we all shared the same personality. And Ray and I sat next to each other every single day. And that's kind of how it went. And we got closer by talking a lot because, in drama class, you're discussing things you like. What do you want to do? Like for a monologue, like you're learning people's interests throughout the entire class.
Sky, man. Being the elderly woman she was.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wherever you are, please enlighten us with that lovely number again.
Love
and Noelle on the floor.
Yes.
Oh, that was so good. And then for the last question in this portion of the topics, what's something you think we learned about each other that surprised you?
Honestly, what surprised me, like, I didn't even know what shop you were in, nothing. Like, learning that you could actually, like, really bust down and draw. Like, you could just draw anytime you wanted. Like, I found that, like, really freaking cool. Also, for, like, your love for the Orange is the New Black. Like, I was so excited to hear, like, somebody else love that show just as much as I did.
Yep.
And, like, it was just, I don't know, it was mind-blowing.
That whole Piper monologue I did. Oh, my Lord. I thought it went pretty well, though. That was kind of
it's
fire. I was waiting for
aced
Alex
that.
Voss to come out. I
You
was
aced
like, okay, this is vibing.
Aced that.
All right. Well, now we're going to get into a more serious topic. And this I'm very proud of her for, because she's coming to you guys with something that she has been dealing with for years and years. And I'm proud of her for coming out of her shell and finally being able to talk about it with you guys, because I myself am going to probably learn some things that I didn't even know. So let's get into it. When you think back on your mental health journey, what was the moment you realized you needed support rather than trying to carry everything alone?
I was just 11 years old when my mental health journey really began. I started battling with depression, anxiety, and I battled with self-harm, unfortunately. And later on, as I got through it, I was institutionalized when I was 11, and I was scared. I did anything and everything I could to be on my best behavior to show the doctor that I was doing okay and I could get out. Biggest mistake of my life. If you are going to go into a facility, make sure you are staying there to get the help you need, or else you're going to be on a long trail like I did to figure out how to cope, how to just handle all this at once. When I was 11, I got out of there. I got diagnosed with depression, anxiety, to later on get diagnosed with bipolar and borderline personality disorder. These disorders and diagnoses affected the way I was thinking, the way I could work, the way I could study, just everything in general. It affected my relationships, how I can progress as a human being, and it really sucked. I didn't really, figure out my mental health until I was briefly 20. High school was really filled with a lot of bullying, a lot of drama, and you're kind of just stuck in this pit where you're trying to crawl out of it, but you can't quite make it yet, and so you bring that motivation to pull yourself out of it. I started prioritizing my well-being when I began to understand myself more instead of just pushing through it. I learned that I needed to learn more things about myself in order to to better myself. I had to learn to set boundaries, put myself first, and it really just changed the way I thought. By setting boundaries, I mean if you gotta listen, blood is thicker than water. If you gotta cut off that friendship, if you gotta cut off that family member, if you can't do that no more, or it's not helping you on your journey, please just leave it. Cut it off. It is okay to cut things off. Granted, you might have some feelings very sad about it, but you will eventually go over it, and hopefully you can come back to it, or they change their ways, or you realize they change and it's reconnected. But if you gotta put yourself first at the end of the day. Yes.
Yes. This is what my podcast is all about, guys. You'll learn that later, I promise. Okay. How did your understanding of yourself shift as you started prioritizing your mental health well-being?
My mental health really started to shift when I lost two of my good friends from school to suicide. You're seeing the hurt, the confusion, and even anger of the grief, all mixed emotions brought at having so many questions as to why they decided to do what they did, aka taking their life. It really opened my eyes and made me reflect, if I did such as they did, how would my family feel? I felt I got really in my thoughts, and I thought man, what I would, if I did that, I would be selfish, as some people would say. But it really made me realize that I really just had to one up everything. More to that question, I wrote a poem that I've actually shared with several others on platforms to help them get through their mental health. Not really a poem, more so a really long quote. But it says, "Even though I could have been the sunset you look for every night, I stayed because I knew I couldn't let the world get the best of me. I had to prove the world wrong, show them that I can fight." Hold on, pause, the page won't turn. "That I can fight any obstacle or battle. I wanted to live to tell my story and to let others know that they're seen and heard and we understand. I couldn't leave my family and friends behind, even though it was what I wanted for so long, and for others to experience the pain I felt. But in the end, it wasn't worth it. Remember, your life is worth more than anything." And with that, I conclude with a quote. If you have letters to write, you have reasons to stay. And I will gladly repeat that for everybody possible. If you have those people and you would have, letters for them, they're your reasons to stay and take that. That's your support system. And your support system, you really have to utilize that, or else you're going to fall deeper into the hole. It's maintaining self-maintenance, coping and support system. That's really the big three in mental health. And I also have some statistics here, like, that I'll get into later, because it goes with another question.
Came prepared. See, this is why we are besties, because she is like me. Always prepared. Always come in with something brand new. I didn't know that quote. So hallelujah, because that will help many people, and I hope you heard that, and I hope you replay it, because get it ingrained into your brains. And the final question for this section is, what's something you wish people understood about mental health that they often get wrong?
Mental health isn't a choice or something you can just snap out of. Most people don't realize it can affect how you think, how you feel, how you function on a daily basis. And even when everything on the outside looks fine, just because someone's smiling or they're laughing or they're working or they're showing up, doesn't mean they aren't struggling internally. And healing isn't linear. Some days you're going to have good days, some days you're going to have bad days. That doesn't mean you're failing. It just means you're human. And with that, it's really about, like I said again, prioritizing yourself. But most importantly, support matters more than solutions. People don't always need to be fixed. They just need to feel heard, understood, and not judged. And with that, I have the statistics. People think, oh, mental health's a joke, or, just get over it. Don't listen to them. These statistics show, granted, they are 3 years old, so don't hold me accountable. But according to the CDC, suicide was the 11th leading cause of death overall in the U.S., claiming the lives of 49,300 people. That's mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, even grandmas or grandpas that are out here, committing suicide because they're not getting the help they need, or, they just feel like they can't get that help. And to me, that's not fair. Everybody should know they have a chance to be better for themselves and get the help they deserve. And another statistic I had was suicide was the second leading cause of death among individuals between the ages of 10 and 34. If you don't hear that 10 was the lowest age, you're the problem. You're the problem. We have kids out here bullying people. We have even younger than 10 years old, taking their lives because nobody's listening to them, or they feel so scared that they can't come talk to you. And it's just, it needs to be done at this point. Mental health isn't just an act, it's quite literally an epidemic. And I think there's a lot to be done. For me, I feel like, police, fire, EMT, whatever, all that. There needs to be people that go on calls to help people when they're going through mental health or deals with mental health. And I feel like just in our country, we don't have that help. We don't have the medical inclination that we should to help people that are going through such thing. A lot of people just, kind of look at mental health and they're like, it's a joke. But, there's people like myself that have gone through it since they were 11 or younger. And it truly never goes away. And I don't want people to get the wrong idea that, like I said, healing is not linear. Some people, they can be institutionalized, they can do therapy, and they're like, oh, problem's fixed. But later on, something shows up and it triggers all that again. Mental health really never goes away. It's just about when it repeats itself, learning to cope, use your strategies that you learned, and kind of just get a grasp of it. And if you need that help, make sure you get it. And that's all I can really say on that.
Yeah, and I think going with that, hearing about all the individuals who use AI as their way of using those tools to get the help, it's also kind of fueling the fire, because they're relying on this completely inadequate being. I use being loosely. They're relying on it, and then that also leads them, because the kid that committed suicide because of AI telling him you need to, end your life because of, and it's just shocking how people think it's okay to rely on these digital platforms. And I think that's obviously one of the main causes of these types of, mental stressors. I mean, like, you go on TikTok, you go on Instagram, every single day, you're just doom scrolling for hours and hours and hours. And it's just feeding into that, like, mental space of, like, oh, I can't.
Yeah, I totally agree. And to speak on what Ray's saying, like, to all the girls and boys and, adults too, because it's going to apply to you mainly towards the younger, you're growing, you're developing, you're becoming the person that you're aspiring to be. And do not look to society's standards of beauty. Now I say that as I'm wearing a face full of makeup, but don't look to society's standards. Do not think you need to look like that model that just showed up your page, or you need to look at that, weightlifter on your page and think, oh, I need to look like him for people to love me. Love is love, and when the time comes, you're going to find it. And you do not need to change yourself to fit in. You will find your own crowd. Like, I didn't feel like I fit into my new school when I moved there. And then I met Ray, and Ray introduced me to her friends. And so it's just a matter of, it takes time, and you're going to have to be patient. And I know it's very hard for some people, but I promise you, it's going to come your way. Like, you're going to be set, and you're going to ace and aspire to be that person you want to be. You're going to become that person you want to be, and you're going to sit there, you're going to look back and be like, damn, I really did that.
We put an unauthorized PSA out there, but you guys really need to take it because, who better to listen to than the people who have gone through it themselves? Like, even the scientists can't take this. No. We ain't doing that. Sorry. And finally, of course, you are now officially a college student. Oh, yes. Because for the longest time, this girl was between back and forth. She didn't know what she wanted to do.
And that was due to my mental health. I was debating it.
I was fully supportive of her. I said, you want to go to college? That's great. If you don't, great again. I'm not forcing you to do nothing. I'm here as your biggest supporter. I'm going to do whatever you want to do. And here we are. We're on the track.
Like I said before, like, you got to have that support system. If it wasn't for Ray, if it wasn't for my other half, I would have not went back to college. Having people to push you, saying you're not going to quit, like, we will push you to strive. That's what you need. That is the support system you need, not the one that makes it all about themselves or, just takes every moment from you. The support system is people cheering you on constantly and you doing the same. Having listening ears back and forth, not just one person. Don't make your friendships or relationships one-sided. Be there for both of each other.
All right, sorry, I had a moment. I need to sit with that and reflect. Okay. Let's get into it. Wow. Okay, I didn't think I was gonna mess up that bad. Okay. What part of your college journey are you most proud of, even if it's something people don't usually celebrate?
Honestly, I'm going to school for my registered nursing. I want to be a psychiatric nurse. If you couldn't tell by my speech. But honestly, like, just for me, like, showing up on the bad days and the good days, like, growing as a person and not giving up when it's overwhelming. I'm determined to thrive. I have that determination of no quitting, and I'm prioritizing balance over burnout. Realize when, I'm overwhelmed and when to take a break, and hey, like, maybe work on a different class, come back to this one. About, like, reaching out to professors when you need the help. Granted, I am online and in person, but it's just a matter of, like, once again, setting boundaries, coming back to it, time management, and most importantly, and I can't stress this enough, listen to yourself. If you are getting tired, take a break. Simple as that. If you need help, reach out. And pretty much just everything about college. I never thought I would be going to college, and here I am. So that's probably, like, what I'm most proud of so far. Obviously, when I get the degree,
Yeah, what she said is true. I mean, you gotta get that connection with your professors, because I mean, look at us guys. I'm gonna talk to you through the camera because you're gonna listen to me. We're currently in a college class right now, and you're listening to this, and you're in your seats, and you're doing your thing. Travis, I see you. Hello. But yeah, so listen to your professors. Take everything they have to give you, because even if it isn't something that you're interested in or is something applied to your field of study, it is still valuable to know as an individual and as a human being. I myself do that all the time. I'm listening to everything that my professors say, even if it doesn't apply to me, because it's valuable for me to know that, hey, they're not just professors, they're human beings too, and they have a lot to offer us. So yes, what she said is 100% accurate. Like, get to know your professors and get the valuable content, because that's what's going to help you in the long run. It's not just academics, I promise. Okay. How did your mental health journey shape the way you approach school, studying, or balancing life?
It's just a matter. So I work full-time in a behavioral health facility, working 3 days a week, 12-hour shifts each day. And I work nights. I don't do day shift. So, I have in-person class 2 days out of the week, and that's biology. Shout out Dr. Gore. I go to a completely different college than her, by the way.
Yes.
But I go to biology on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I try to arrange my work schedule where I'm not working the day before, because one class is 7:30 in the morning. Who does that? 7:30 in the morning. I don't really go to that one because it's a learn by yourself class as well. But doesn't mean you don't go. Keep going. Some days I'll just be tired, okay? But I do go for the most part. And I forget where I was going with this. But shit, where was I going with this? Ray, help me out here. You're the host.
Dude, all I was going to say was 7:30 is illegal for a class.
But I work in a psychiatric facility and going to school for psychiatric nursing. What was the question?
How did your mental health journey shape the way you approach school, studying, or balancing life?
Okay, so balancing life right there, work and school. I only have one in-person class, easy. For me, my professors pile up all the assignments, and they're like, have this due by Sunday. It's usually Sunday to Sunday that you have time to get your assignments done. Math is nice. She gives you about a 2-week period to get the assignments done, you feel me? Whereas my English professor, he likes to, pile on a lot of writing because, well, that is English, unfortunately. But, we love our professors, though. No hate towards them. It's a lot of writing. So I'd say out of all my classes, I get pretty, mental health-wise, I get pretty overwhelmed with English just because it is a lot of writing. Biology, not so much. I pretty much go in twice a week, have one assignment, and it's great. And math doesn't even bother me because honestly, if you go for nursing, the math's really freaking easy. So, but it's honestly I've felt oh, I just want to give up, or I don't want to do this anymore. But having another half, an amazing friend, you don't give up, you're going to prove people wrong that told you you're never going to amount to anything, or you're not going to push through. And, whether it's friends, family, whatever, saying that behind your back or, to your face, don't listen to them because you too can pull through. I'm in my 3rd semester. Didn't even think I'd be in my 3rd semester, but here I am. And when I get that degree, my biggest thing is making sure that I'm fulfilling my purpose that I knew, I was given, which the whole reason why I'm becoming a psychiatric nurse is because the way I was treated in a psychiatric institution was not okay. I'm not going to name the place, but it's not okay. And that made me realize that I want to treat my patients that I work with on a daily basis better than how I was treated. And I know it's my purpose to help people overcome that, whether it's addiction, alcoholism, or they're really struggling with depression or anxiety, or they have psychosis or schizophrenia, any mental illness or disorder. I want them to feel seen, heard, and understood, and know that they can get the help they need and they can entrust in me to do so to help them.
Vibing. My girl vibing, always. Always. She gonna preach to y'all. Sooner or later, she's gonna become the what do you want to call it? I don't even know. Like, professor and like...
Oh no, I could never teach kids. No offense to the professor watching this.
And then finally, for this category, if you could talk to your high school freshman self now, what would you say?
Honestly, I wouldn't even talk to her yet. I would hug her first, and then I would proceed to talk to her, because my 9th grade self went through a lot, way too much, that, no 15, 16-year-old should ever go through. And, well, I think I was 14, but I would talk to her, and I would just say, keep pushing, be proud of yourself, and everything will work out. One thing I would tell her is, because she went to a technical school, is drop out of criminal justice. It wasn't for you. You literally graduated and passed the NOCTI with advanced, and you're not even in that career. Just wasted 4 years of free education.
What would she would have gone for?
She should have went for nursing, because that's where we are now. Could have worked out a medical assistant, but instead...
Period.
You walked out with only hopes of becoming an EMT or, turning 21 and becoming a cop. Which, shout out to our cops out there, but I could not do your job.
Yeah, no.
I'm too emotional and sensitive.
We put ourselves in it too much.
And running's not for me either. I know. Probably like, oh, chub, but it's okay. I can run though. Don't underestimate me. Any of you want to race? Hit my line.
And getting a demerit if you had a single hair on your shirt.
Literally. PTSD. You ever, criminal justice program, you're in a uniform every single day. You gotta shine boots. Have you ever woken up at 5 a.m. to shine your boots for school? No, I didn't think so.
Nope.
Like rolling yourself and having inspection. No little strings that are coming off your shirt. That's deducting points. You're graded every day based on how you dress for uniformity. And I just said, screw it. I could have been in scrubs this entire time.
We love our tech people, but man, that was crazy. I was the art kid right down the hall from her, and I'd look down and I'd be like, oh, they got the rollers out today. This ain't a good day. Yeah, Mr. Cyber.
At least in medical, you wouldn't have had to do PT every other day. But I think I just really hug her, and I told her, you're gonna find the right friends. You're gonna have some hardships, but you're gonna pull through it. I think I would give her a lot more clarity. Don't get into the relationship with the one person in 10th grade. Biggest thing I would probably tell her. And that, you're going to graduate with just a big support system. And you're going to have a lot of people show up for you. And eventually, down the line, you're going to have one best friend and the other couple. And you're going to meet somebody that loves you and cherishes for who you are. Because apparently my 9th grade self was really worried about a boyfriend. Girl, you should have been focusing on that math class. I probably would also tell her to focus on math because, no.
Vibes. Yes.
Mainly hug her though because she was going through a lot. At just my freshman self, she was going through depression, anxiety, struggling with even, just friendships, relationships. I just had moved again. Yes, I moved a lot. But that she's gonna make it. I didn't think I'd even graduate high school, but here we are. So I'd want her to be proud of herself for everything she did, but most importantly, drop out of criminal justice. I cannot express that enough. And if there is any criminal justice majors watching this, I applaud you. You're gonna do amazing things. It just wasn't for me. Yeah, that's all I really got to say.
And she's quite proud of you.
Who?
Her.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm quite proud of y'all. You're going to push through and do great.
Yes.
Hopefully one day I won't need you as a lawyer.
Right, yeah. And I have a bonus question because I got to ask bonus questions for everybody because I'm going to do this to myself. Okay. My podcast is called Right by Choice, right? Mm-hmm. What is one choice you make for yourself every day?
Honestly, to get out of bed. to get out of bed.
I wasn't expecting it to be that funny, but you know.
I'm telling you, like, when you work night shift, all you do is sleep. And on your days off, you want to do so much, and you're just kind of like, my other half's like dragging me out of the bed, like, come on. Like, don't you want to do this? And I'm like, you know. But honestly, getting out of bed, yeah, that's a big one. It's really comfy. Okay.
Oh my.
Definitely, I don't know, just be myself. Like, that's the one choice I make. Like, there's no reason to hide who I am anymore. Like, I went from, you know, as a kid being like, I struggled a lot with my confidence because I went from being really skinny to now a fluffy woman, as they would say. And I really struggled with that. So it's just a matter of, you know, making that choice to be confident in yourself every day. Have that self-esteem because, girl, you look good. I can't see you guys through this, but y'all look good. And don't look up to society standards, nothing. Choose you every single day. I don't care who you're surrounded by. Choose you every single day. You got to learn to put yourself first. And I cannot express that enough. Choose to be you. Don't be fake.
She just pulled a Jenny Garth on me without even me knowing. Wow. I applaud you, my sister. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on. I can't thank you enough for being my first guest.
Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. I wouldn't have it any other way. There was nobody else I wanted above you.
You'll hear that, right?
Yes,
Got
next
that on
next
recording.
episodes, y'all better listen because they ain't gonna top this one. Sorry, I'm afraid. But yes, I thank you again, and I love you so much.
I love you too.
Thanks for joining us. I hope you listen. I don't know what all you do on YouTube, so I ain't gonna go through the like, subscribe, and BS. I don't know all that stuff, so I'm gonna just end it here. Bye.